Hello everyone, I heartily welcome all of you to this new learning series from Litspedia, which is to give you an overview of English literature within the shortest possible time. So before starting the lecture, I would like to say that this video series will be actually running for a couple of months, where I will be discussing every minute details as much as possible regarding English literature, which might include major writers, major works, and also we will also move to other literature after completing British history and literature. And we will also be having note sharing and question answer discussion in our Litspedia Telegram group also. So now let's come to our point. So if my assumption is correct, most of the people who are watching this video are about to face some competitive examinations, like what we say, like UGC NET examination or PhD entrance or any other PG level competitive examinations. So my opinion is that it is better that you don't enroll in any coaching institutes. For English literature, it is better that we study in a self-study manner, because most of the coaching institute, even we can say nowadays, even GATE examinations, they also give us opportunity to write. They also introduce the subject English literature. So we are not that much aware of the syllabus, but we can say that if we are thorough with English literature, English history, and the major writers and works and other literatures too, and we can gradually develop that knowledge with self-study, and once we improve the knowledge, we will be ready to face any kind of competitive examinations connected with English literature. So that way we need to approach this. And for beginners of UGC NET examination or any other exams, if you are about to write, for beginners you should remember three things in your mind. So first of all, that you should have the passion about the subject, first point. Secondly, we need to maintain consistency in the subject which you are studying, and thirdly, we need to stay away maximum from the negative energies. So these three things, if you can maintain, means it is definite that next time you can qualify, even if you are a beginner. So that we need to keep in mind. So just for passion, just having passion is not enough. It may be helpful for you to score high marks in PG level examination, but without consistency, without maintaining consistency, it is not possible to crack any competitive examinations. Okay, especially in case of English literature, we can say. And also our surroundings are anytime bound by many negative energies. So it will be our wise kind of behavior that will make us stay away from those negative elements. So with that note, we can start our video audio lecture for today. And today we are dealing with Anglo-Saxon literature. Okay, let's start the video. Welcome back to the video lecture. So we need to start with Old English literature now. So when we consider the time period, it lasts from 5th century to 11th century AD. So Anglo-Saxons includes Angles, Saxons and Jutes, as we have already know, which include 3 tribes. So when we consider the historical background, we need to know that before Anglo-Saxons invaded or arrived Britain, there were a group of inhabitants who were called, the original inhabitants, who were called Britons or Celts. Okay. So after Celts, we can see the Roman invasion in 55 BC, and up to 410 AD Romans were there in Britain. So suddenly there was some problem and the land of Rome was under threat. So all of a sudden they just left the land and the British land became defenseless. So in that case, Germanic tribes arrived and invaded Britain. So that's how, when we consider historical background, we need to understand. So I am just dividing this video lecture into 3 parts, like historical background we will discuss first, then we will move to the literary side, then we will discuss the major figures, and we need to know that there are also prose works and poems, and we can see some other chronicles also. So we need to know that literary side, when we consider, there were no remarkable piece of literature written actually. Because of 2 reasons actually, because the land was under constant threat of war during this Viking invasion. Viking invasion also took place during that time. Because of this anxiety and things like that, remarkable piece of literature, we need to know that when we are always in a comfortable position, we will be able to write literary works most of the cases. And another reason, we can say, lack of printing press. So because of this reason, there are not that much records regarding these writings and literary works, and we can see that oral tradition was actually predominant during that time, and due to this reason it failed to keep record of the major works. So because of this reason, we don't have much evidence that there are too much enormous literary works existed during this Anglo-Saxon period. That way we need to understand when we consider Anglo-Saxon literature, but we need to know that when we come across the coming literatures, coming history of Britain, we can see that this Old English period acts as a basement, and we can see the works like Beowulf and poets like Sine Wolf, Caedmon, etc. plays an important role. We can say that many writers actually translated these works of Old English period. So that's how we need to understand about Old English literature. So now let's discuss about the literature we know about Anglo-Saxons. So we can see some kinds of works like heroic poetry, religious poetry, personal poems and love poems, chronicles, sermons and riddles we can see in this Anglo-Saxon period. And two kinds of poetry we can say. One is heroic poetry and the second one is religious poetry. So as I have told you, there were a group of original inhabitants in Britain during that time, and Anglo-Saxons were Germanic tribes who invaded Britain. So Old English language is actually a mixture of this Celts and Germans, German tribes. So that way we need to understand Old English literature. It's a fusion of Celts and Anglo-Saxons. And we can see regarding the literary works also, this heroic poetry is always meant for people who are these Anglo-Saxons, because heroic poetry is mostly concerned with heroic ideals, kind of warrior. So we can see Beowulf is the best example for that. So they were fond of it, and this Beowulf story is about a great warrior who saves his country from potential threats. We can see he fights Grendel, a monster, then his mother also he fights, and during that time he got a mortal injury and at last he dies. So a heroic death he have to face. So that kind of heroic kind of in the oral tradition this Beowulf comes. Just like that. And we need to note that this Beowulf comes under Novel Codex, which is a manuscript, and it also comprises 3182 lines. Okay. So heroic poetry, that's about heroic poetry. Beowulf is the best example. And Anglo-Saxons are fond of this poetry. And second type of poetry is religious poetry. Two types of poetry, heroic poetry and religious poetry. And religious poetry in the Anglo-Saxon period actually deals with Christian ideals. So these Britons or Celts were fond of this, and we can see that these people, how they become Christians. In the 5th century we can see an important figure called St. Augustine. He tried to convert the entire Europe into Christianity. So the images of cross and all is predominant in the theme of their religious poetry. We can see, for a best example is Dream of the Rood. We can see the image of cross is predominant there. It is because of these Christian ideals or Christian elements they imparted into their religious poetry works. And also an important fact we need to note here is that these poetries are always found in different manuscripts. One such manuscript we can say the Exeter book, which comprises 131 poetries and also some significance ones, like we can say the Wanderer, Seafarers. So other poems like we can say the Ruin, Life's Lament, Husband's Message. So they mostly talk about the daily life challenges faced by the common people living there. So that way we need to consider this religious poetry. So two kinds of poetry, heroic poetry and religious poetry, that we need to remember here. Okay, so we have discussed about Anglo-Saxon poetry. Now let's come to the prose works. So prose also started being created in Britain during this time, and when we need to come across King Alfred, who is the king of Wessex. So he tried to restore English culture, and he is also considered as the pioneer of the prose writing. He also translated many Latin words, and we can see the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, which is a very important work in the history of English literature, which was started during this time period. And we can see about Ecclesiastical History of English Literature by Venerable Bede, that also describes many of the major writers who lived during this time period. And another major one poetry is there, Widsith, called Widsith. It is one of the earliest surviving Anglo-Saxon poems, and it is an autobiography of a Scot, and it tells about the German world. So from that also we can understand many things about Anglo-Saxon culture and the Germanic tribes. And we can see two significant poets or writers were there. They were Caedmon and Sine Wolf. And for important manuscripts when we talk about, they are Exeter book, Junius manuscript, Vercelli book and Novel Codex. So regarding all these things we will discuss in detail in our Telegram group, and also we will share the notes, having the detailed kind of notes. Due to the problem with the video length, I am not describing everything in this video lecture. So rest of the things we will discuss in our Telegram group. So that's all for today's video lecture. In the upcoming videos, we will be continuing the topic according to our schedule, which is already posted in the Telegram group. And also make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also press the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever we post a new video. So that's all for today's video lecture. Until we meet next time, goodbye and happy